Guys, welcome Bob Cheevers.
Thank you all. So I'm going to play some songs from Tall Texas Tales, which was number 28 in America and top 10 in Europe. Part of the reason that I'm in the position I'm in today, or tonight, playing here for you guys. Two people in a room who don't know each other, don't know what it's like to be alone together. Glow of a candle, a bottle of champagne, coming down outside as an early summer rain. Conversation about stuff that matters, talk about dreams and things getting better. The moments in time when we both realize we live our lives where love survives. Grown-up people getting older, grown-up people sometimes need a shoulder. Looking back on days when things are plain and simple. We're grown-up people. Can anybody relate to that? Then comes that moment when we breathe real deep, talk about hope, promises we keep, try to let go of those fears that we have, let each other know how much we're willing to give. Light another candle, stare into the flame, pour another glass of that sweet champagne. Times like these make life worthwhile. Power of a kiss, the reassurance of a smile. Grown-up people getting older, grown-up people sometimes need a shoulder. Looking back on days when things were plain and simple. We're grown-up people. We're grown-up people. We're grown-up people. Grown-up people. I bet everybody in here is over 50. I mean, except the ladies. I didn't mean to mean the ladies.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Your turn will come. Down at the end of an old country road, there's a place where you can lighten your load. Just hang around and drink a Lone Star of beer. There's not a better place to be down here. It's like a town in some old picture show, a cool oasis where banditos go. Familiar faces where time moves slow. The sound of music makes you tap your toes. That's what I love about Lukenbach. People come to hang around and talk. They get this swagger in the way they walk. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Nobody's bothered by hands on a clock. Front porch old folks and armchairs rock. Windows open and doors unlocked. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Lukenbach, Texas. I spent a month here on a Sunday afternoon, wound up howling at the Texas moon. Woo! Watching the sunrise with a beautiful girl. There's not a better place to be in this world. the cigarettes. Boy, where did that come? The human race has a long way to go, and just in case you wonder how I know, I've been to Lukenbach in early spring. It's paradise, it's a real thing. That's what I love about Lukenbach. People come to hang around and talk. They get to swagger in the way they walk. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Nobody's bothered by hands on a clock. Front porch old folks and armchairs rock. Windows open and doors unlocked. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Windows open and doors unlocked. That's what I love about. That's what I love about. That's what I love about Lukenbach. Lukenbach, Arkansas. Oh, Lukenbach, Mississippi. No, no. Lukenbach, Texas. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Lukenbach, Texas. Shinerbach. This is called Texas as an Only Child. I'm an only child. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. My mother was a radio star in the 20s and 30s. And I was going to say the love of my life. My mother, and I didn't realize this, until way later. But boy, what a deal, having a great mom. So I moved to Texas, and I didn't want to be known as a guy who came down from Tennessee to claim to be a Texas songwriter. I'm just because I'm a guy from Tennessee and I write songs. So I figured I was just a guy from Tennessee writing songs, living in Texas. So I made up this song called Texas as an Only Child. And some of my friends, and you may know them, in fact, Tim Henderson was one of them, George Inslee is the other guy. We were driving to Folk Alliance in Memphis a couple of years ago after this song was written, and I wanted to play them some new songs for this record, Tall Texas Tales, which you'll see out there with an iconic picture of me that just came out of nowhere. And so the second verse talked about Janet Reno and Waco and Kennedy and and all of that. And they said, Bob, you might want to change that second verse. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, because we don't want to hear about that anymore down here in Texas. And I said, well, that's the truth, so I'm going to write about it. And then I thought about it, and I thought, nah, just as well leave that alone. And it's turned out to be, on this record, the song, and I've gotten standing ovations in Texas for playing this. But I go to Tennessee or anywhere else in the world, and we here in Texas think, and this is right, that Texas has the greatest music scene in America, believe me. And I've been there and back, and also in Europe, people respect Texas music hugely. So my friends here in Texas said, yeah, they really love Texas music in Europe. So I started asking my fans over there when I'd play, I'd say, so when you think of America, what musical city do you think about the most? And Memphis was nearly 100%, probably because of Elvis, But Texas came in somewhere like second. And I did change the second verse, and I like it better now. There's a stretch of open highway called I-35. Takes you straight through Dallas if you manage to survive. The small town state troopers who drive that interstate, clocking 18-wheelers, checking them for weight. Hurricanes hit the Gulf Coast, part of Galveston disappeared. T-shirts saying, keep Austin weird. Texas is an only child, a real lone star, but you can be her friend no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, her river's running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child. Only child, just like me. remember Santa Ana, his pants down to his knees, with the yellow rose of Texas, doing all she could to please. Towns with names like Waco, towns who found this fame, singing about banditos, Poncho and Lefty were their names. Davy Crockett, Hoodoo Wars, Tales of Texas Gold. Then came Buddy Holly, and the rest is rock and roll. Texas is the only child, real lone star. You can be her friend, no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, her river running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child. Lone Star Independence, alive and well today. Life is bigger here, just like people say. The sound of the Jigueo turn young boys into men. Longhorns on the goal line, Texas A&M. Willie's on his tour bus, rolling up a joint. He could get his hair cut, but what would be the point? A faded red bandana, beat up old guitar, singing Whiskey River while Kinky smokes cigars. Legends from El Paso to the Louisiana line. Forget the days of Georgia on my mind. Texas is an only child, real lone star, but you can be her friend, no matter who you are. The Alamo still stands, her river running wild. The great state of Texas is an only child. The great state of Texas is an only child. The great state of Texas is an only child. Thanks. Shinerbach. This is called Is It Ever Gonna Rain? It's on Tall Texas Tales, but it's also on my new record, which is called Smoke and Mirrors, which is a double album, and the Smoke disc is sort of the up-tempo band thing, and the Mirrors is the more reflective acoustic. My friend George Ensley and I wrote this song that I'm about to play. On the Tall Texas Tales record, it's got a string quartet. It's George playing guitar, me singing, and a string quartet, and it's just gorgeous. But I can't play the way George Ensley plays, so I made up my own way of playing this, and I wanted to put it on my version on this new record. So I was playing that show, and Karen Mall was playing with the guy who was performing a couple of clicks before I played. So I was sitting there watching this woman, Karen Mall, and it was like, and I've known her for several years, but she just had this long dress on and this really pretty top thing, and she's just, yeah, and there's that too. And she's talented. I mean, she plays everything. Anyway, so I made up this song, this lyric, and but when I tried to put music to it, it sounded like 20 other songs I've written. And so I asked George if he would consider putting music to it, and he said, well, I'd love to. So he took it home. A few days later, he called back and he said, I got some ideas, but would you mind if, I think the characters need some development. So he said, would you mind if I fooled with the lyric a bit? And I said, no. Because what I wrote was perfect, and it. So I gave George this lyric, and he came back with something totally different, and we wound up in I have an RV of Winnebago, and we were driving to Focal Lines in Memphis with Tim Henderson. Thank you. Tim Henderson was driving. February, probably 20 degrees. George and I are sitting in the back, covered up with blankets, writing this song. But this is my version. It's called Is It Ever Gonna Rain? Sorry for the long introduction. My fields are dry as bone. This old farm looks cursed. My creek is sun-baked stone. My crops are dying of thirst. Hey, I'm waiting on salvation, standing lonely in the wind, like some old fool I know, who let pride get the best of him. Is it ever gonna rain? Will this dry spell ever end? Will the heavens ever open and fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? Hey, I think I'll drive on into town, find the courage and maybe tell her I was wrong. Ask for one more chance, pray she'll come back home. Yeah, she knows I need her love washing over me, way I need the rain falling softly on my fields. Is it ever gonna rain? Will this dry spell ever end? Will the heavens ever open, fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? The days are hot and the nights are long. Time goes slipping through my hands. I can't make it on my own. Lord, have mercy on this land and this man. Is it ever gonna rain? Will this dry spell ever end? Will the heavens ever open, fill my well again? Is it ever gonna rain? Will the harvest ever come? Is it too late to be saved? Is it ever gonna rain? Is it ever gonna rain? Will it ever Yes. Thanks. I love that song. This is on the new record called Home. My friend in California and I wrote this. He gave me the idea, and he wrote the first couple of verses, and then I wrote the rest of it. But he said, you guys know Kevin Welch? Well, he's other than Jackson Browne, he's my favorite songwriter, and he's a very good friend of mine. And my friend David, who I wrote this with, he said I was channeling. He said I was channeling you and Kevin Welch. So he channeled me through Kevin, and it came out like this. I'm just going to start it like this. I'll get the lick this first time around. I play at the airport in Austin each month. And people, are sitting there on their computers and their cell phones, eating and drinking, and I can play this song and everybody pays attention. I love the sound of cars going by, the rubber hitting the road. I love the roar of jet planes in the sky, folks with somewhere to go. Dogs are barking, cars are parking, kids out running around, people in the streets all heading somewhere. Seems like they never slow down. Everybody wants to go home. Yeah, they just want to go home. Here it is. I hear the sound of a telephone ringing as I drop my bags on the floor, falling asleep with a siren wailing, wailing, wailing. A hard rain starts to pour. Motel sign flashes, tour bus passes me like I was standing still. Some hillbilly station down southwest of Dallas plays an old song by Bob Wills. Everybody wants to go home. Yeah, they just want to go home. Beggars in the streets, strangers I meet, families giving thanks for food that they eat. Baby in the cradle, man on his deathbed, just like the old preacher said, they want to go home. I still have my dreams, some even come true. Hey, I live one day at a time. I don't look back over my shoulder. These days I walk the line. Life goes in circles. Sometimes I stumble. Road stretches out up ahead. I hope these miles I travel mean something. I remember what an old wise man said. He said, everybody wants to go home. Yeah, they just want to go home. They want to go home. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, it's nice to be here, and you and I share a number of passions. One of them is the Beatles. And on this new record, as I said, there's two sides. One is the smoke and one is the mirrors. The mirrors is the more reflective. This is such a cool song, I think. I just think it is. It's called Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby. This is what probably happened. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby wiping the dirt from their hands at the grave, standing together, quoting from scripture, there in the chapel, each other to save. Where did these two lonely people come from? Where do these two lonely people belong? Father Mackenzie, awaiting the rapture, a man of the cloth, friend of the poor. Eleanor lived in his parish, a spinster, night after night, slipping in his back door. She had no one to talk with but him, both aware of the ways and the wages of sin. Two people living for love, looking for light from above. Eleanor Rigby lived in a dream. Someday she'd be married with kids. Years went by. She wondered why her life turned out like it did. Father Mackenzie did all he could do to console two lonely people losing all control. Two people dying for love, looking for light from above. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby found peace in each other's arms, kneeling each day and praying as they stood still in the eye of a storm, questioning faith that once was all they had known. Lighting a candle, they walked in the graveyard alone. Two people living for love, looking for light from above. Father Mackenzie and Eleanor Rigby, two lonely people. I don't know about any of that stuff. You know, last summer, the fires in Texas and Bastrop really got hit hard near where I live. And there's a wonderful singer-songwriter girl named Jessica Shepard who lived on a Cardinal Lane in Bastrop. And I, after sort of during the fires or whatever, I asked this guy that she was in her band, I said, how did Jessica fare? And he said, no more houses on Cardinal Lane. He said that, and then my immediate response was, wow, what a song title. And he said, "I'd love to write that with you." And I said, "I'd be honored," because he went through the whole thing with her. And 20 minutes later, I had written the song. And we were invited to play a benefit for her the next night. And my band played this song for her the next night. And there's a YouTube video. It's called Cardinal Lane. And my friend in L.A. Put the video together out of footage that a guy shot of all of her, well, what was left, the ashes in Cardinal Lane. Let's see. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Can't remember when we last had rain. Wind blew hard from that hurricane. Flames felt like a ball and chain. You won't hear us whine or complain. All we lost will not be in vain. Beautiful memories and ashes remain. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Smoke cleared, fears realized, tears falling from so many eyes. That fire raged everywhere, but angels were all around here, kept safe in their precious care. We were delivered with moments to spare, let out of that nightmare alive. Hey, it's a blessing so many survive. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Can't remember when we last had rain. Wind blew hard from that hurricane. Flames felt like a ball and chain. You won't hear us whine or complain. All we lost will not be in vain. Beautiful memories and ashes remain. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Beautiful memories and ashes remain. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Beautiful memories and ashes remain. No more houses on Cardinal Lane. Thanks. My publisher, he talks about songs as being important. Like, I have a song called Old Soul, and he said that's an important song. My publishing company pitched this to Joe Cocker, to Ray Charles, Eric Clapton. As a writer, and I've written over 3,000 songs, so you figure, and some of them are good. Some of them are great. But every writer, and I figure no matter what level that you are, you figure you have a masterpiece, and this is one of mine. And it is only because it is for me. It might not be for. I remember going into Warner Brothers when I moved to Nashville, and I played him what I thought was. He said, "Play me your best song." So I played him what I thought was my masterpiece, one of my masterpieces, the Ballad of Caleb Leedy. This is another one that I think, and it's so subjective, what you get. When you get into this business and you try to make it, I've been in it, I'm 45 years, I'm thinking of going professional and maybe making a career out of it, but this is on a CD called The Stories I Write. It's called Old Soul. I'm an soul, that's what I've been told. I was at Stonehenge on the Dawn Patrol. I've seen the sunrise on each generation. I've known the icons of civilization. I wrote it all on a Dead Sea Scroll, and I watched it fall through a black hole. I've seen history unfold. I'm an old soul. I'm a real old soul. I grabbed the apple right out of Eve's hand, took a big bite just the way it was planned. Then the face of the devil looked me in the eye and she said, you have fulfilled what I have prophesied. The earth stood still, it was freezing cold. There were bolts of lightning and the thunder rolled, but the angels had a hold of an old soul. I led the charge of the light brigade. I've been a hero, I've been a slave. I was a pharaoh and a voodoo priest. Hey, I knew Columbus and the Prince of Peace. Yeah, you could say I've been through a few incarnations, a time traveler with new information, all about my trials, my situation of living through this wild imagination in a world where truth is so controlled, and the fountain of youth is just a big sinkhole where time takes its toll on an old soul. I am the builder of 4 rocket ships, one for each horseman of the apocalypse. I'm an old King Cole and a queen of the Nile. I'm an old soul in the body of a child. I'm a real old soul. I'm a real old soul. I'm an old soul. I think we should end on that. Thank you. My masterpiece.